Good evening. My name is Benny Harms, and it's a pleasure to welcome you to these evening devotions leading up to Pentecost, based on the letters from the words Holy Spirit. Tonight's letter is I, and it stands for integrate. Now, anyone who knows me will know that I love gadgets, and really, I just can't think of a life without gadgets. In 1998, we returned to South Africa from Zimbabwe, and at that time, mobile phones, or cell phones as they were known in South Africa, were the in thing, the rage. And boy, I needed to get hold of one. So within a few weeks of being there, I had signed my contract and I received my new mobile phone, a Nokia. I can't remember the exact number, but it was great. After that, I became a cell phone junkie. I had to have a car charger or a headset, maybe a Bluetooth, a earpiece, a pouch, a cover for the phone, you name it, I had to have it. One evening, whilst traveling home from work, there was a knocking on the window next to me, and as I turned to see who was there, the passenger window just suddenly exploded into shards of glass, and my mobile phone, which was on the seat, disappeared, and the guy ran down the road. I was lost. I'd got so used to this mobile phone that I must admit I was quite shaken by the whole experience. No insurance, no phone, but I still had to pay. So I did what I could and raised some money, and a friend of mine got me a second-hand mobile phone, and that had to do me for a while. I just love mobile phones, really, in particular. And I have a collection of them here this evening. The first is a little Nokia. It's a Nokia N95. It's not the oldest phone that I have had, but at least this one could play music, and you could have some beautiful songs coming out of this one. The best mobile phone that I reckon that I've ever had was this Titan 2, made by HTC. It was completely integrated in everything. It had a keyboard. If you wanted to use it, it had a stylus. If you needed to make sure that you could write, it had recognition of your letters. So I would sit in meetings and I would write notes and that to myself, and it was wonderful. It was just an absolutely incredible phone. But then it went out of date, and I had to get another one. And so when we came to England, I had this Titan, and I used it for a while, but eventually I graduated to a Note 3 by Samsung, and finally I've come up with an Apple. Perhaps not as, I don't know if it's as good as a Titan. It doesn't have a stylus that I can write on, but it's got fantastic camera and everything else. But that's not the point of tonight's devotion. What I want to say is that to integrate our lives with the Holy Spirit means we have to allow the power of the Holy Spirit to come into our lives and to not only take control, but to give us guidance and direction and to help us in the things that we want to do. Something similar to this phone. To power the phone, you have to have a battery. To power your life, you need to have the power of the Holy Spirit inside it. In order to keep the battery charged, you need to connect it every now and then to the electricity. In order for you to remain charged spiritually, there needs to be that connection between you and God. But the most important thing about it all is that everything is integrated, that it is just one unit. That as you think and as you speak and as you do, so it is because you are directed by the Spirit. I like to think of things in gadget form, and I must admit that for me, This is probably one of the best pictures of a Christian and how we need to be integrated in everything in our lives. This period of coronavirus, COVID-19, and lockdown has had severe implications upon our community and our societies and the way that we live. And everything has become disintegrated, disjointed. We have been separated from family and friends, from community and the connections that we would have had in our normal daily lives. And the danger for us as believers is to become disconnected, disintegrated, as it were, from God. So I would encourage you tonight to allow the power of the Spirit to integrate into your life, allow yourself to integrate into the life of God. Allow this time of disintegration to be for you a time of integration into these things so that you might be able to learn how to share God with others, even under difficult circumstances, so that you in your life will be drawn closer to Him and will draw others closer to Him as well. There is no difference between this phone and this phone. They both integrate in everything. This one is older and has less features. This one is newer and is more powerful. And so I would say to you, do not continue with just having an old experience, but allow your experience of integration with God to become new and up to date and more powerful so that you might accomplish more for Him in your daily life. I pray that God will bless you tonight. Thank you for listening. I look forward to joining you tomorrow evening. May God bless you. Bye-bye.